Having the garden, having the ability to have a small garden is cool, but there's a lot of work involved, and I've neglected this area here purposely. And it may look like a lot of weeds. I'll show you guys a quick video after I'm done, but I'm gonna go in here and clean up all the weeds. But if we jump over here for a second, this is my Jamaican Callaloo, or what we call bhagi. Every year I plant this, and if you notice at the very top, it's time to harvest some of it because it's starting to go to seeds. Before I go to seed, I'm going to trim it back and it's going to keep sprouting. But these same plants were over here. Well, not the same ones, but so if you notice down here, all in between, so like right here, over here, there, all in between the weeds here, there's a ton of bhagi in there. Again, some of you call it Jamaican Callaloo, some of you call it, well, where I grew up, we call it bhagi, some call it spinach. I purposely let it go to seed in the fall. The seeds fall, it grows up in the spring. Once it comes up, I harvest it. And that is where we are today. That is why there's a lot of, it seems like there's a lot of weeds in the garden. It's because I purposely allow it to do that. This is the sort of harvest that I got. And I'm gonna give it a good wash. We're gonna go inside, we're gonna trim it up and get cooking. In my pan, I have 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. You can use olive oil. I'm just gonna turn my heat down. It's a little bit too high. And I just went in with 1/3 of a pound of prepared salted cod. And what I mean is, on my Food FAQ channel, you would see a video on how I prepare my salted cod. Basically, what you want to do is soak it in water or boil it in, well, water. Drain it, squeeze it up, because what you're trying to do is rehydrate the salted cod and to remove most of the salt it was cured in. Keep in mind, it was cured in salt, so later on near the end is when you're going to taste for salt and add salt if necessary. So 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. If you wanted to use olive oil, vegetable oil, and your favorite oil, avocado oil, you'll rock that. But the point is now we're going to sort of flavor that oil with the salted cod. And again, you can use salted pollock, whatever you want. Just make sure, even if you use boned, which means the bone is removed, you still got to go through it and make sure there are no tiny bones in there. It's been about 3 minutes and I'm quite happy with the results that I have here so far. And you know, I keep saying salted cod. We lovingly know this in the Caribbean as saltfish. Now, the title of the video says Jamaican Callaloo, but in reality, in some parts of the Caribbean, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, we call it bhagi. And that is it all prepared here, and you know, or spinach. And you know, again, I'm gonna run into problems with people saying, well, Chris, we made this throughout the Caribbean, why call it Jamaican Callaloo? Because that is the name it's more known for in North America. When you go to the stores to buy this, it won't be called spinach, it won't be called, and you saw me harvest it in the backyard, it won't be called bhagi, it will be called Jamaican Callaloo. So please lay off the kind of hate now. I'm just saying. Onion, Scotch bonnet pepper, and I use an entire Scotch bonnet pepper, not a big one, but the point is I like it spicy. If you don't like it spicy, or if you want to use a different type of pepper, use, you know, what you have available to you and what you like using in the amounts that you like using. We've got garlic, and the full recipe in its printable format will be available at CaribbeanPod.com. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, you would have seen me already share this recipe. It is exactly what I shared before. It's just that that's been years ago, and I'm trying to sort of bring back some of the older recipes that I've done so long ago to the forefront. I want some fresh thyme in there, and I just went into the garden, and summertime here in Canada, boy. Once you have access to these fresh herbs, it's real nice things to be happening, eh? All I want is the leaves. I don't want the stems in there. So all I'm doing is sort of breaking out those little leaves. And if the sort of tender stems get in there, that is cool as well, yeah? So fresh thyme. If you wanted to add some scallion in here, you can certainly do that. I'm on in rocking the scallion today. Some of that fresh ground black pepper in there. Give that a good stir. Sort of use your spoon to sort of scrape the bottom of the pan there. That sort of little sort of caramelized or burnt bits of saltfish on the bottom there. That is all flavor, yeah? So listen, give this another 3 or 4 minutes just for the onion to soften up. and we'll continue. Turn your heat up to medium, and here's where we're going to start adding all of that prepared callaloo or chorai bhaji or spinach, however you want to call it. And if you're looking for a video on how to do this specifically, hit me a comment down below, and the next time I harvest some of this, and then you'll notice I've got the sort of tender stems and everything in there. The next time I do a harvest, I'll be sure to shoot a video showing you guys how to do it. And essentially what you're doing is taking the leaves off, getting rid of any sort of flowers, chopping up the, well, give it a good wash, chop up the leaves, and any tender stems, you can chop it up as well. I also like adding a bit of chopped tomato to the mix, and that chopped tomato will bring a sort of acidity to the game here and help to brighten up things. All you want to do now is give that a stir, and the sort of you're hearing in the background there is that's the remnants of water from washing the callaloo. So all we're going to do now is turn the heat down to medium-low. I'm going to give that a toss, and I'm going to let that cook all the way down until it's nice and tender. It won't take long, and I don't need a lid on there. Now if you had a lot more and was piling up, I would suggest putting a lid. Allow that steam to help cook it down a bit. Just making sure I scrape the bottom there. You really want that saltfish to flavor everything. I'm going to turn my heat up now to medium because I want to quickly cook this and burn off all of that liquid that went in there. That will give it a punch more flavor. Now if you wanted to add a couple things in here, a bit of lemon juice, yeah, works really good. And about a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of coconut cream. If you don't have coconut cream and you want to add about half cup of coconut milk, bravo, thing work nice and thing. But anyhow, we're going to continue cooking this. It won't take long, as I said. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie? Irie. It's been 14 minutes since I added the callaloo to the pot. This is where you're going to personalize things now. You're going to taste it at this point for salt. Adjust that salt to your liking. I will not add any salt in here because I am cutting back on the sodium intake in my body. We talked about this before, and I want you all to be a little bit smart about that. High blood pressure and everything associated with that. Yeah, it can be up in the Caribbean bad. So the other thing now if you notice on the bottom here, I have the oil that we started with. All of that liquid is gone. So this is to my liking here. You may cook it longer, or you can turn off the stove. Totally up to you. I'm going to give this 1 more minute, and I'm going to allow the residual heat in the pot to finish cooking this. What you may want to do is grab one of the stems and make sure it's tender enough for you. Now, if my mommy was making this, and she would call this chorai bhaji, she won't call it Jamaican Callaloo, she would cook this down quite a bit more, where most of that moisture is gone. Like all of the moisture is gone. It's going to come together a bit more tight. It's going to get a lot darker in color. Yo, mommy, I love you too bad, but I enjoying it like this today. So Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com, fresh out of the garden, Jamaican Callaloo. Again, some of you call it spinach, some of us call it chorai bhaji. I ain't trying to bring the heat. Anyhow, I hope you guys get an opportunity to give this one a try. It's a nice meal, man. And you have some some fried dumpling or roti or fried bake or any of the above. Yo, green banana. Oh gosh, boiled green banana, cassava, yam, whatever it is. And you see this here? Even with toast. I love it with toast. I ain't gonna lie. I like it even with toast. Because sometimes I'm only feeling to make roti or whatever. And it's a nice little toast with some butter. And that's saltfish. Slingers is saltfish sweet and here live. Anyhow, enjoy the rest of all the weekend. Irie? Irie.